Jim Jones. Who is Jim Jones? Like, he's not on anyone's top 10 list. He's like no one's top 10 list, maybe not even his family.
He's scared to hustle because niggas is snitching so much. Maybe that's what's going on. I would be scared to hustle too when I know that every other nigga is snitching just so he don't want to do no time because he can't bear to be inside the jail system.
An old clip just dropped and it's wild. Jay-Z's voice clear as day, calling Jim Jones a snitch. But here's where it gets messy. Jay's top exec at Roc Nation, she's already been outed as a federal informant. So why is Jay suddenly throwing shots now? And why aim them at Jim?
Jim Jones is listed as a federal informant in court documents in the case against Tekashi. In the original court transcripts that were previously released online, the conversation between individual 1, Jim Jones, is listed as cooperating with federal agents in a conversation with Jamal Malmurder Jones, which would explain why Jim Jones has been able to have such a lengthy criminal record and avoid prison time in the past.
Now, if you've been keeping up, you already know Jim stirred the pot big time after coming for Nas. The internet clapped back fast, digging up all kinds of dirt, including receipts that Jim allegedly cooperated with the feds years ago. But wait, if Jay-Z's so anti-snitch, how come his right-hand woman is a confirmed informant? And why did he hand Jim a Roc Nation contract knowing all this history? The contradictions are getting louder.
As we can tell, there's no expense being spared. We had a black billionaire's lunch. Yeah. You understand?
Right.
And we here together.
I think we've passed kneeling.
Let me play it again. But this time, look at the reaction of the lady sat just behind him. The reason why she's worried about how Jay would respond is because she's the CEO of Roc Nation. But in her former life, she was a federal informant.
Let's rewind to the leaked audio that lit the fuse. In this resurfaced clip, Jay doesn't hold back. He calls Jim a fake rapper, says he doesn't even see him as competition. According to Jay, Jim's place in the industry ain't about bars or albums, it's about something else. So now the question is, did Jay-Z know something shady about Jim before the rest of the world caught on? And if he really believed Jim was a fake rapper, or even an informant, why the hell would he bring him under the Roc Nation umbrella? Let's break it down.
Jim Jones, man. Hip-hop, of course, you know, is a competitive sport. But on the other end of it, it's like certain people shouldn't be able to say your names until they've done something in the genre of music. I've done too much in this music to even have to answer that question. Like, Jim Jones, who is Jim Jones? Like, he's not on anyone's top 10 list. He's like no one's top 10 list, maybe not even his family. I was saying last night, it's like the 8th guy on the bench just screaming at Jordan, like, you a bum. Like, you like the 9th guy on the bench. I'm not even worried about you.
Starting with the rumors that Jim Jones was a federal snitch. These whispers been floating for years, but leave it to 50 Cent to drag it all the way back into the spotlight. He posted a savage photo on Instagram. Jim posted up with Jay-Z, Diddy, Fat Joe, and some other industry big dogs. But it was the caption that had people talking. 50 wrote, LOL Individual 1, calling the shots out here. I know you working, so please don't say gangster-ish to me, Individual 1. That wasn't just shade. That was a full-blown call-out. So what was 50 really hinting at? It all ties back to the infamous Tekashi 6ix9ine racketeering case.
Brooklyn rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine pleaded guilty to federal charges, admitting he participated in a violent gang. He also pledged to cooperate with prosecutors. The rapper, whose legal name is Daniel Hernandez, said he joined the 9 Trey Blood Gang in the fall of 2017. He says he helped them try to kill a rival gang member last March. Prosecutors say the gang carried out acts of murder, robbery, and narcotics trafficking in Manhattan, the Bronx, and Brooklyn. The indictment also said each gang member was required to participate in at least 2 acts of racketeering conspiracy, which could include murder, robbery, extortion, or drug distribution. The plea deal could allow Hernandez leniency at sentencing. He was facing a mandatory 47-year prison sentence.
While 6ix9ine was up in court snitching on his whole 9 Trey crew, a wiretap surfaced, catching Jim Jones on the phone saying Tekashi wasn't gang anymore and needed to be violated. That wiretap sent shockwaves through the streets, and folks started connecting dots fast. And guess what? 50 didn't hold back. He posted the entire transcript of the call for the whole world to see.
He definitely humiliating Shawty right now, but.
Well, you got your picture up there next to the post. You're like, when you go to YouTube and World Star, they got his picture next to this. Everything he say, they got a split screen with Shawty picture next to this. I said, this is crazy, son. But he's doing that to make K9 think he don't got no relationship with Boy. That's what he's trying to do. That's what he trying to do. He trying to separate himself.
That's cool, but now he gotta get violated.
Yeah, super violated. Super duper. So ain't too much he can really do unless he gonna run around with 100 armed securities all day. You know what I'm saying? He gonna get shot at penny.
He ain't getting enough money for that.
That's a fact. And he just canceled all his shows.
And he ain't a gang member no more.
Nah, he ain't nothing.
That's what Shotty needs to make sure he do.
Nah,
tell that he's not a gang member no more. He kicked out the whip. He was never a gang member. Shotty need to expose him.
So let's rewind to 2018 when Tekashi 6ix9ine's whole world crumbled. He got slapped with major federal racketeering and gun charges alongside a crew of 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods, one of the most violent sets tied to the Bloods. The feds had been quietly building a case on 9 Trey for a long time, and when they finally pounced, Tekashi flipped faster than anyone expected. In September 2019, during what the streets now call Tekashi Snitch Fest, he hit the courtroom stand and started airing everything out. He dropped names left and right: Anthony Harv Ellison, Al Jeremiah, Nuke Mack, and a bunch of other 9 Trey members. Tekashi basically gave prosecutors a blueprint of the whole gang's operations.
Jim Jones, right? He ran with the same I ran with a decade before I met him. Jim Jones, the Dipset, the that was just over there dancing on verses. Jim Jones was running with Shotty, Cafano Jordan, right? Mel Matrix, Jamel Jones, Road Murder, Roland Martin. He was running Fu Banger, Fuquan. I forgot his last name, Fuquan something. He was running with all of the cats I ran with and got in daddy for. You know what Jim Jones did? That nigga did not take care of none of them. Cause when I ran to them, Shotty was sleeping on the rug on Madison between Tompkins and Troop. Mel Murder was on Gates and Marcus Garvey with his baby mother. Roland Martin was just doing 9 years. He blew trial. That make them. That take care of them. From Shotty was sleeping on the rug. That driving a 6'3" Benz in 6 months, living in a condo, doing meetings with Kanye. Kanye was taking him to Yeezy meetings, board meetings. Matrix had his own, everything on his own. His kids was eating. Roland Martin came home to a new AP, watch, money, cars, everything. That Jim Jones did not take care of none of his. I took care of him. And on top of that, Jim Jones was caught on wiretap telling Jamel, look, Jim Jones was caught on wiretap. Jim Jones was caught on wiretap on my case, he was telling the big homie Mel Matrix, Jamel Jones, to go and get rid of my security. How you do it? How you shoot at them? They don't got no license to carry weapons, don't nothing in New York.
Wack also agrees with him and says that you can find the audio online because it was used in the trial. 6ix9ine and Wack both question why Jim Jones isn't in jail if he was caught on tape saying he was going to kill 6ix9ine, suggesting that he must have cooperated in the trial. 6ix9ine also starts making some accusations about Desiree Perez, the CEO of Roc Nation, but Wack shuts him down before he can say too much.
How does Jim Jones fit into all this? Here's where it gets real messy. During the trial, a wiretap was played in court that allegedly featured Jim Jones on the line, talking with Jamel Mel Murda Jones, a known high-ranking 9 Trey member. The two were caught discussing what to do about Tekashi after he publicly disrespected the set and claimed he was out.
Jimmy, Detective Jones, people at Splash Brand do not with no informants. I did 4 years in the feds, homie, because I ain't snitch. You set your best friend up on a wiretap. See, Wack 100 and Tekashi, they don't got receipts like that because they really don't know.
And what was said? It sounded like Jim was pushing for some kind of retaliation, saying Tekashi needed to be violated. That leaked tape had folks doing double takes, not just because it tied Jim Jones to the top dogs of 9 Trey, but because it triggered one burning question. How did Jim end up on a federal wiretap, talking gang business, and still walk away without a single charge?
I did a little something for you in the studio. Then he had something to Old Boy.
This is Old Boy's already #1?
Yeah, it's popping.
All right.
Yeah, I listened to it and I was like, erase that shit.
Right after Tekashi's courtroom drama, the streets started buzzing. People were asking what seemed obvious. How does Jim get caught on tape saying someone needs to be violated? And yet he's the only 9 Trey affiliate who doesn't even get indicted? It didn't add up. And naturally, whispers turned into full-blown rumors that Jim might have been working with the feds, or at the very least, cooperating just enough to dodge the flames.
First of all, let's get right to it. There seems to be some drama. You and The Rock, Jay-Z, you try to diss. You did diss him.
I just nobody.
You dissed him.
I dissed Michael Jordan.
Oh man, we just
there's no drama, man.
No, we're gonna get to that.
Shouts to Dame Dash, who started Rockefeller Records. If y'all don't know, he's responsible for Rockefeller getting off the floor that started in Harlem. You know what I'm talking about?
And no one leaned into that theory harder than Wack 100. Wack straight up called Jim a federal informant. He claimed the only reason Jim didn't end up behind bars was because he was cutting deals and playing ball with law enforcement. And Wack didn't just say it once. He kept that same energy in every clubhouse session, every interview, even when face-to-face with Tekashi himself. He dared Jim to clear his name, show proof he wasn't talking to the feds, but Jim stayed silent. Then it got even messier.
They're hustling like they need to, you dig? And they ain't keeping it funky like they used to. So I don't understand. Maybe scared to hustle because snitches so much. Maybe that's what's going on. I would be scared to hustle too when I know that every other snitching just so he don't want to do no time because he's and better to be inside the jail system. Now the to say not nothing to brag about. When I was coming up, kind of happy to go to jail to say they did something tough, even though I never been behind the walls myself. But my I be around, there used to be a bragging point. Like I just came home. That was when we was young. Nowadays, you punks are scared to go in and do the damn.
Jaja, a former Dipset member, jumped in and added more fuel to the flames. She claimed to have receipts that Jim straight up set up his own friend, Mel Murda. All right, now that we've unpacked all the Jim Jones is a snitch drama, let's circle back to Jay-Z. Because if Jay really did set Jim up for a public takedown, we gotta rewind to see just how deep their beef runs.
Brooklyn get tape up, don't big things, we chase around, they all ball game, it's over for you lames. Give me back the chain. It's over for you.
This ain't some new tension. Jay and Jim been going at it for over a decade. Their issues go way back to the early 2000s, and the first real spark came in 2002, when Dame Dash brought Cameron and Jim Jones into Rockefeller Records. That's when things started getting shaky. Jim claimed that Cam was promised the vice president role at the label, but Jay never publicly co-signed that. In fact, Jay told the source at the time, "That's not taking effect as of yet. I think the talk is a little premature right now." Translation? Jay wasn't backing that move, and Cam and Jim felt the disrespect immediately. To make it messier, this was all happening while Jay was locked in his heated beef with Nas.
Another former rival who was relying on Hov's teams to steer his career, as Dipset's Jim Jones is allegedly heading over to Roc Nation. Capo posted a picture of bottles of Douce and Ace of Spades next to a Roc Nation letterhead on IG and told fans to caption this.
So what does Jay do? He records a remix of Cam and Jules Santana's hit Oh Boy, using it to throw shots at Nas. But Cam and Jim weren't having it. They saw straight through the move and refused to drop the remix. Cam even went as far as cutting Jay's verse completely from the track, and later said he wasn't about to let Jay hijack their hit just to handle his own personal beef with Nas. That moment lit the fuse, and from then on, Cam and Jim felt like Jay-Z never really respected them. That's when the sneak disses started flying heavy. Jim began taking shots at Jay in interviews, on radio, wherever he could. He painted Jay as this out-of-touch corporate figure, too soft, too polished, and way too far from the streets to understand real loyalty.
If anybody getting handsome checks, it should be us. Cocaine, we did that. The same as you.
Jim positioned himself as the one holding it down for the culture. Real talk, real loyalty, no switch-ups. And here's the twist. Jim even used to diss rappers who turned informants. He made it clear, he didn't mess with anyone who cooperated with the feds. That just adds another layer to the drama now, right? At first, Jay played it cool. He didn't respond publicly, but everybody inside Rockefeller felt the tension. It was in the air. Then came 2006. Jim dropped We Fly High, and it blew up everywhere. The success must have hit a nerve because that's when Jay finally clapped back with his own version called Brooklyn High. But Jim wasn't about to let it slide. He fired right back with the We Fly High beef mix, sending direct shots at Jay. He went after his age, his image, everything, with lines like, "Told your old A to chill, better slow down before your old A gets killed." That wasn't just bars, that was straight disrespect, and it didn't stop with music.
All right. Remember when Jay-Z said this?
I think we passed kneeling.
Let me play it again. This time, look at the reaction of the lady sat just behind him. The reason why she's worried about how Jay would respond is because she's the CEO of Roc Nation. but in her former life, she was a federal informant. In 1994, Desiree Perez was arrested for bringing in 35 keys of Griselda Blanco into Miami. Under pressure, she agreed to wear a wire for the DEA. Quick side note, Desiree Perez is the name Dame Dash refused to say in this Breakfast Club interview.
Once a has certain friends, we don't even talk about them no more where I'm from.
Now, around that same time, Jay-Z and Perez spearheaded Roc Nation's prison reform initiative with Meek Mill. I guess their hard work paid off, because on the 19th of January 2021, this list was released. Desiree Perez's criminal past had just been wiped clean by the outgoing president, Donald Trump.
By 2008, this beef had spilled into real life. Things took a wild turn when security cameras caught Jim Jones laying hands on someone inside a Louis Vuitton store. And guess who it was? None other than Lenny Santiago, Jay-Z's longtime A&R and close industry ally. Jim ended up getting arrested and later pleaded guilty to misdemeanor assault. That incident wasn't just messy, it was personal. Jay never spoke directly on it, but a few months later, he threw heavy shade in an XXL interview. Without naming names at first, he blasted certain tracks for dragging the culture down. Then he said it loud and clear. I mean, like Jim Jones, for example, and I don't mean this because we never see eye to eye, he made na 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 na. Then Jay got even more disrespectful, comparing the Dipset anthem to Trey Songz' Smiley Face and even Soulja Boy style. He mocked the chorus, saying it might as well have been called Smiley Face Part 2. That hit hard, especially coming from someone who barely addressed Jim publicly before. After that, the beef cooled down for a bit. But in 2015, Dipset brought the smoke right back. Cam and Jim hopped on a freestyle over Diddy's legendary Victory beat, and the shots were blatant. They clowned Jay, dragged Roc Nation, and even mocked the Roc Nation brunch, calling Jay too soft, too polished, and too corporate to still claim the streets. But then, out of nowhere, Jim flipped the script.
The Roc Nation, Desiree Perez.
Good evening, everyone.
I say shout out to Desi. Shout out to Desi. She got me out the contract.
Roc Nation.
Yeah, shout out to Desiree.
Okay.
You know about this?
Nah.
Desiree Perez became a cooperating witness for the DEA in the 1990s. She got arrested in 1994 for possession of 35 kilos of cocaine.
Desiree Perez and the whole wicked system of Roc Nation, including you, Jay-Z.
Yes.
Yes. You who say you rose from the gutter.
After over a decade of throwing shots, in February 2017, Jim Jones suddenly started begging to join Jay-Z's camp. And just like that, after 13 years of non-stop beef, he officially signed with Roc Nation. But here's the kicker, Jim didn't move quiet. He went loud. He bragged about getting invited to the Roc Nation brunch, the same event he used to mock. Now he was all smiles, posting pics, praising Jay publicly, and doing everything in his power to prove he was loyal. From bashing the brand to becoming its loudest cheerleader, Jim was all in. But Jay? Stone cold silence. He barely acknowledged Jim's signing. No welcome post, no public photo op, nothing flashy. Jay kept it strictly business, making it crystal clear. This wasn't a friendship, it was a power move. He didn't want the world thinking they were tight. And here's where it gets juicy. Some folks say this wasn't a truce, it was a chess move. See, Jay-Z has a pattern. He's known for absorbing his rivals. Think about it. The LOX, Fat Joe, J. Cole, Meek Mill, they all had rocky history with Jay at some point, and they all ended up under Roc Nation. As for Jim, after the deal, Jay still kept his distance. No collaborations, no shout-outs, just paperwork. So now people are asking, was Jay keeping his space to protect the Roc Nation brand? Especially with all that Tekashi wiretap drama and the snitching cloud still hanging over Jim's name? Now here's where things get real tricky. Jay-Z's whole image of I don't rock with snitches. It might just be a front because let's not forget his right-hand woman, Roc Nation President Desiree Perez, is a confirmed federal informant. That's documented. No rumors, no speculation. So if Jay is fine doing business with a known informant at the top of his empire, why would he suddenly ice out Jim Jones over just rumors of snitching? That's when a deeper theory started spreading. What if Jay's playing both sides? Maybe this whole thing ain't about loyalty, it's about control, it's about power. Jay never needed Jim, but Jim, he needed Jay bad. And when Jim's name popped up in those wiretaps, Jay did exactly what he always does, protect the Roc Nation brand. So maybe Jay wasn't mad that Jim might have snitched. Maybe he was mad Jim wasn't snitching for him. Let that sink in. Because if that's true, it raises some serious questions about what Roc Nation really stands for. Is it about music? Is it about integrity? Or is it just business? No matter how dirty, we'll let y'all decide. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with someone who needs to hear the real story. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Whose side are you on in this one? And we'll catch you on the next one. Stay tuned.